Hello and welcome to a conspiracy pilled takeover of the Last American Pubcast. I am here with my co-host PJ. How are you, PJ?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Abby?
I'm good. I'm a little sick, but we're gonna push through it. We are here to talk about the breaking news of FTX absolutely falling apart. And if you don't know what that is, FTX was a crypto trading platform on which you could trade anything from Bitcoin, the big boy cryptos, to the little weird, they're called shit coins in the business. Um, the ones that we're all pretty sure mean nothing, including the shitcoin that FTX built to kind of back its entire program, which was called FTT. Now, FTX was founded right after Joe Biden started his campaign for president. Weird.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a coincidence. It was started by a guy whose parents and aunt and other family members had connections with the World Economic Forum.
yeah. His parents were two Stanford professors. His mom was her whole thing was raising money to the tunes of millions of dollars for the Democratic Party through Silicon Valley. His dad was an expert in offshore tax havens.
Ah,
For
fascinating.
considering that the founder SBF Sam Bankman-Fried ran his entire operation out of a $40 million apartment in the Bahamas. And his aunt was World Economic Forum, and his brother as well worked for the World Economic Forum.
Fascinating. So somehow this
Connections there,
kid,
yeah, for sure.
somehow this kid who doesn't know how to brush his hair, doesn't know how to dress, talks like an absolute nerd.
I wanted to get rich not because I like money, but because I wanted to give that money to charity.
Found $10 million to begin investing. Nobody knows where he got this seed money from, but he began investing in cryptocurrency and started making $1 million a day allegedly, and then built up this platform. Weird.
Yeah, yeah. In his early mid 20s, he got somehow $10 million a day, like you said, to invest $10 million into Japanese Bitcoin, sell in the American market for $1 million profit per day, basically turning him into a billionaire seemingly overnight. Yeah.
With his co-founder, some guy that nobody is even sure exists.
Yeah, this is the crazy part about it. There's this guy, his last name is Wang, and the only picture of him, and again, this is only on a few sites because he deleted his LinkedIn conveniently right after this started, is this picture. Is the picture of some Asian dude at a computer, and it's the back of his head. But this guy supposedly definitely exists. He has no online presence. He has no pictures of himself. And the 5 people who even worked for Alameda Research or which he started with SBF or for FTX. I guess there's 10 people between the two, and they're all in some weird sex polycule in the sex group inside of the Bahamas in some apartment somewhere. Most of them have never even met this guy, and the few people that have said they've never talked to him.
So let me sum
Yeah,
up.
his girlfriend Carolyn. Yes, they supposedly believe this guy exists, and somehow they worked together at some small hedge fund and magically had $10 million a day to turn into $32 million empire overnight.
So we have FTX, the crypto trading platform.
Right.
That's totally legitimate for even though it's operating out of the Bahamas and definitely sus. With a co-founder that no one is sure even exists. And then you have Alameda Research, which was started by SBF and his girlfriend? Question
No,
mark?
sorry, that was his girlfriend runs it, but it was this Wang guy, this back of the head character is actually who started that, and then they started FTX, and then he gave Alameda Research to Carolyn, his kind of girlfriend, off again, on again girlfriend. Yes.
So the man in the chair.
The man in the chair, yes. The totally real man in the chair.
So this week, conveniently right after midterms. So the company starts right after Joe Biden's campaign starts. And then completely falls apart Enron style right after midterms. You want to tell us about that, PJ?
Yeah, so they fall apart right after midterms. There's this other company called Binance, who's a direct competitor, and they tweet out that they don't think that this coin is actually worth anything, and they're going to sell all of theirs. Everybody starts selling all of theirs, and much like Black Tuesday, they find out that there's no money there to be given to the investors of this. They were actually buying IOUs this entire time. And don't worry, SBF is not worried. He's playing video games in the Bahamas with his friends and may or may not get bailed out. It's still kind of on the books. This was a currency that was partnered with the World Economic Forum, was backed in large part by BlackRock and has a perfect ESG rating, or environmental and social and governance rating, basically the American company's version of a social credit system, which again does not just exist in China, but exists here in America, not on an individual level yet, but on a company level. Perfect ESG score. This guy loses 94% of his worth overnight. His partner Wang disappears. They're all just chilling in the Bahamas playing video games. And now we're starting to see things come to light. So if you guys are familiar with FTX, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, you've probably at least heard of it in one major news story this year. Besides the Super Bowl commercial with Tom Brady, you probably heard that during the Ukraine-Russian conflict, that Ukraine, the Bank of Ukraine partnered with a cryptocurrency trader. That was FTX. So get this, $60 billion so far. And I think they're proposing another $37 billion as we're recording this video to go to Ukraine. $60 billion at least has been sent to Ukraine from the American taxpayer. Ukraine buys $100 million of this totally not real coin from FTX called FTT. Then for the 2022 midterms, FTX, between some super PACs that went to specifically forward-thinking Republicans, aka establishment rhinos, who were in favor of the lockdowns specifically and in favor of Ukraine and funding Ukraine, they get $26 million. Another $40 million goes to far-left Democrat candidates who are, again, in favor of lockdowns and in favor specifically of Ukraine. So $60 billion goes into Ukraine. $100 million goes into FTX, and $70 million comes back out to the Democratic Party and rhino establishment Republicans. And it's definitely not a money laundering scheme, I've been told.
This is an industrial-sized money laundering machine where your tax dollars went to help Democratic candidates win the 2022 midterms.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if that doesn't get worse, this guy might be the most hated man in the world right now, considering he's out. I mean, people are out $32 billion of their investments. But now the Senate, which is still Democrat controlled, is proposing that we take his bill, the bill that SBF created, to allow them to regulate cryptocurrency. So this guy creates a bill for a problem that then he creates the problem. And all of the politicians and all of the people that he's bought and paid for are still, after all of this, backing a bill which will decentralize crypto and allow the American government and the Biden administration to take full control over the crypto market the way that they did with the banks over 100 years ago.
So let's just review. Sam Bankman-Fried was a media and political darling for the whole time that he's been running this platform.
It's called the next Warren Buffett.
The next Warren Buffett, the next JP Morgan.
Yep.
Everybody loved him the same way they loved Elizabeth Holmes before Theranos fell apart. And meanwhile, he's one of the good ones. The government is looking for ways to control cryptocurrency. It's this big thing that's threatening centralization of money. And they're looking for ways to control it. And conveniently, this crypto guy is like, I will help you write a bill that helps me and hurts my competitors. So he helps them write a bill, and then he creates fear of cryptocurrency by stealing millions of dollars from people through the back door that he created in his own system to take people's money out. And now everyone's just going to accept all this legislation to control cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and not only are they going to accept and push his bill through, but even people like Breitbart are saying that it's expected he might actually be bailed out by his Silicon buddies and respawn is one of the terms.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not just right-wing news like Breitbart that's saying this. There's a lot of people who are speculating, including Sam Bankman-Fried himself, as he's sitting in the Bahamas playing video games, telling the New York Times that he's not worried and he's not been extradited yet, that maybe his buddies at BlackRock and the World Economic Forum and in the Democratic Party might push his bill through, bail him out, and the problem he created and then solved with his legislation after buying $70 million worth of politicians, maybe he'll just walk scot-free. It doesn't matter that your $32 billion are gone. This is politics, people. This is the world. This is the economy for you under the Biden administration. I'm shocked and I'm not shocked at the same time.
Same.
The corruption is just so right there for everybody.
It's, like, delicious and enraging at the same time because it's
Yeah.
so beautifully executed. You just wanna wring someone's neck.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to check us out on the Last American Pubcast on Saturday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to hear more about the SBF FTX conspiracy and go down that whole rabbit hole with Abby and I, check out Conspiracy Pill. We just did a video on this, a full-length video. It's a little bit over an hour. We delve a lot deeper into all of these things and more. So check that out on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys on the Pubcast this Saturday. Have a great one. God bless everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Last American Pubcast, the only podcast where everybody knows your name. And hey, while you're here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join us on a Saturday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, you might get stuck with the tab.